And seal. This 2026 Winter Olympics update was brought to you by Sandy Howell Notary Service, owned by Ed and Sandy Walensky. For gold medal notary service you can count on, go to Sandy Howell Notary Services, 158 Dry Nub Road in Smithfield.
For 35 years, Fay Penn Economic Development Council has been committed to its mission of growing Fayette County's economy and helping to bring jobs to the area. Whether you're a startup, existing, or new business in Fayette County, Fay Penn's lending team can work with you to decide if the Fay Penn Loan Fund suits your business's needs. Fay Penn's Loan Fund offers loans starting at $10,000, pending qualifications. Visit faypenn.org to learn more about financing opportunities for your business and to complete a pre-application form.
When you make the right decision, it feels good, like picking the perfect gift. It feels really good to make the right insurance decision, too. That's why State Farm Agent Nate Ferguson is here in Uniontown to help you select the right protection at the right price. Nate will make sure you understand your coverages so you'll know what to expect if the unexpected happens. With State Farm Agent Nate Ferguson, it's easy to make the right choice. Just call Nate when you want the real deal.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of John Marietta and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Fayette County Recorder of Deeds Office or Fayette County government. This program is privately produced and funded, and no county resources are used for its production or promotion.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was trucking up the highway, minding my own lane, with some dude in a Prius went and flipped me off. Guess my redneck hit him wrong. Seems like everyone these days is a ticking time bomb full of hate for folks like me who don't agree and ain't ever gonna change. And it gets me thinking,
Hey everybody, this is John Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly, and it's another Trumptastic day here in Fayette County. Today's show is being brought to you by Burnhead's Krause Funeral Home, Thunder Hills Feed and Supply, Fayette County Recovery Storage and U-Haul, HC Containers, Highline Motorsports, Humbert Sanitation and Septic Pumping, Fayette Structures, Country Motor Sales, Premier Auto Glass, Fayette County MAGA Patriots Group, HBJ Radio LLC, Mauser's Garage and Tire Center, Solid Foundation Ministries, The Ink Spot, JB Market in Dunbar, Mung's Auto Body and Repair, Fayette County, and the Fayette County, Fayette Structures. I'm just going to get right to it here. I'll tell you what, honoring George Washington and everything he's done to get this country started ain't just a polite nod to the past. It's a holy reminder of where the nation found its backbone. Glory to God, that man didn't bow to Britain. He bowed to the Almighty. Out there in Valley Forge, frostbitten his men were, hope hanging by a thread. Old George didn't reach for a bottle. He reached for a Bible. He hit his knees in the snow, and he prayed like a prophet. And the Lord heard him, just like he promised in 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray. And brother, our first commander-in-chief did exactly that. Washington didn't march by fear. He marched by faith. The same faith that splits seas, shakes mountains, and topples tyrants. Proverbs 3:6 says, In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Well, Washington's path went straight through fire and came out freedom. He never backed down. When the devil whispered, turn back, Washington thundered, not today. When the odds piled high, God's hand pushed harder. This nation was birthed in prayer, baptized in courage, and anointed in the blood of men who believed liberty was a God-given flame, not a government favor. So saddle up, America. On today's Hillbilly Jon show, we're going to light that old fire again. We're going to talk faith that fights, patriotism that prays, and a God that still ain't done with these United States. Let's crank it up. Brothers and sisters, the Spirit's moving, and freedom's calling. I want to thank everybody today. I really do. I really appreciate all the many text messages. I mean, my phone's been just going crazy over the last 2 hours. And I want to thank everybody and all the support. And I'm not going to give up. There's no way. I wrote a few things, so let's see how this goes. I just wanted to lift my voice and thank everyone who's reached out in the last couple hours with your words of strength and encouragement. Bless you all for standing with me. It does my soul good to know that folks see the truth and what's been exposed here, especially in our county, and the way these commissioners have carried on. I ain't backing down. I ain't turning quiet, not when the light's finally shining on the shadows. Together, we'll keep pushing, keep praying, and keep holding their feet to the fire till the truth reigns over this place. I can't even hardly do anything on my phone because the message is coming in. All these people messaging me and thanking me for what I've done and how I've exposing what's going on. And of course, you know what? It just amazes me. It does. It does that the people are starting to see the light, and they're starting to see how people have misused the money that the county's entrusted them with. And we're going to keep on keeping on. And I know there's another big story going to hit about some things in the next few weeks. I've been messaged by somebody else, so we're going to let that happen. And I'm going to put this to rest with the Robert Burns things. I could, you know, I told you last Friday I'm going to put it to rest, and that's what I'm doing. Everybody wants. I got people that think that they know better than I do, and they might so know that. But everything I've been told and everything I've done with Fort Worth, and I haven't hidden anything from anybody. So, anyways, I got Larry Doherty with me. We got some things going on in the county. One of the biggest things we got going on right now is petition signings for the state GOP. Go to Harrisburg to represent Fayette County for the Republican Party. Larry's running, Melanie Patterson's running, Dale Custer's running for the one of the. There's three groups of people running, so there's three fractions of Republicans right now, and we're going to find out which one is the biggest one here real soon. Larry's a farmer, veteran. Melanie couldn't be here with us today. She's getting ready for another petition signing, and she's trying to get her house ready for the TV to come down and check her out, and it's going to be an important thing for her. And Dale Custer may be on with us next Friday. It's going to depend on the weather, so we're hopefully we'll get him on. I seen a picture of Larry carrying a lamb around.
Yeah.
So you're the good shepherd?
I guess. Or just a farmer, one of the two.
So you're baby feeding the lamb.
Yeah, unfortunately, the mother rejected it. So every 4 hours, I'm up and at them and making sure it's ready to go and eating good and maintaining the health of it. So
well, people don't realize what dedication it takes to raise animals. I mean, no matter what it is, to keep them, especially. People say it's sun shining out today, but now what we got to contend with is mud.
Oh yeah.
And you know, sometimes frozen ground's a little bit better than what mud is because it takes less bedding, it takes less time to work with animals and keep them clean. And I know cattle. They would trudge around and cattle are you know, I often think about the movie they went to Chicago and I can't think. Glenn Ford was in the movie, and they were moving cattle from Mexico up to Chicago to the rail or somewhere up to the railhead, and they would move them up But anyways, it's one of my favorite movies. But you think about cattle want to do the same thing every day, the same way,
yep.
No matter what the weather is. So you end up with ruts out in the field that are 2 feet deep.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, they take the same trail all the time.
Yeah. So you're going to go to you're going to be going to Harrisburg after you're elected, and then you're going to represent Fayette County and its interests for the Republican Party.
Well, I mean, it's kind of good to get a number one, a local boy to kind of represent in someone that actually has, boots on the ground, has lived in Fayette County, and actually, from my background and things like that, I sympathize with Fayette County. I know what they need, or I feel that I know what they need, and it's just it'd be an honor and privilege to go down and represent Fayette County. As a veteran, as a farmer, I've worked at other jobs and things like that as well. So I'm a blue collar guy, and I have nothing but respect for the voters, and I have nothing but respect for the political gain as far as the whole big picture of it, and it's time that we really put things back into the voters' hands, and that's what I'm here for. I believe in, even though it's an unpaid position, it's going to cost me money and time and things like that, but I believe in doing the right thing, as I have all my life, with the military, with being a farmer and so forth. It's a building block for me. And like I say again, it'd be an honor and privilege to represent Fayette County.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way, and anybody that would get out and feed a lamb every 4 hours, I can tell you, back in the day, excuse me, my wife raised goats, and my wife and my daughter raised goats, and they had, I don't know, so many goats, it was like amazing. I mean, we had like 50 nannies, I guess that's what you would call them, and we had a buck that we had 2 bucks actually, and they usually they were big. I'm thinking they were boar goats is what they were. And sometimes you'd lose a mother or something, and she'd be feeding, they'd be feeding the little goats in the kitchen with baby bottles. And because, and especially this time of year, because actually wet's worse than cold.
Oh, it is. Yep, it actually is.
And she had old rugs and things that she'd lay down in the kitchen, and they'd bring them in and lay them down, and they'd kind of nest there. Now we take care. Now she's taking care of rabbits. So I don't know what the next thing will be that she takes care of, but my wife loves these things, and I think that I think it's a good thing that agriculture's in. I was raised, my uncle had a farm. I was actually raised in Dunbar, but in the town of Dunbar, but I spent many hours in Acme, Pennsylvania, and I can tell you that I learned a lot of things that I would have never known.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise.
Yeah. Well, my dad always said that no matter what you do in life, it's you're constantly learning. And everything's a learning experience, and you have to build on that. And I kind of follow by his guidance on that, and because obviously it's worked for the older generation, and needs to keep working for the younger generation.
Well, I mean, I often think back. We had a bearing go out of the housing in the rear end, and we had to replace it. The PTO shaft come through a bearing, and we went. I was old enough to drive, so I went to. I think it was Myersdale. We went and we picked up. There was a John Deere dealership over there. They were the only one that had the brake bearing. We went over there, and when we went to size it up, it wouldn't fit, and it was the right bearing. So you learn real quick. The bearing went in the freezer, and we got out the torch with the rosebud on it and warmed up the rear end enough, and slid it right in there. I know that I probably shouldn't tell them stories because I don't know that that's probably the proper way of doing it, but that's how we did it, and you probably should have machined something, but there wasn't time for that. There was hay to be made.
Yep, so, exactly.
I mean, fixed. My father-in-law, I watch him weld a wheel on his tractor. The center broke out of it, and we welded it back in. And I always think about we welded the center of the wheel back in because it broke right, where the bolt. And often thought about, man, that was probably a dangerous thing because we never even let the air out of the tires. So and we were just wanting to make sure the hay didn't get rained on. And there's other things I believe farming and probably timbering are probably the two two dangerous, most dangerous things.
Yeah.
But you've done one other thing that was a little bit dangerous too. You went to a place where nobody liked you.
Yeah, pretty much. Over in Iraq from '03 to '05, where the big push was going on, and we used to run down on Tampa. It was RSP Tampa, so it was all IEDs and things like that, and we did convoy missions and door kickings and TCPs, which is pulling over suspected vehicles of carrying insurgents and things like that. Basically going door to door, arresting insurgents, fighting it out with them and things like that. So, I mean, I did a little bit of everything. Plus, I was the motor sergeant for my platoon because I was with the one unit and they switched me to a different unit. And because of the MOSs, and they needed fillers, and they found out that I had a mechanical background for the motor pool, so they ended up slapping me in for the motor pool sergeant. So I was able to, after we got off missions, fix all the broke vehicles. So,
well, and I know my wife just messaged me we don't have no electric at home, so the wind must have kicked up enough that it took down a power line. So, anyways, we got to. We're trying to do something, and I really feel that it's the right thing to do. We see that there's a definite division amongst several different factions here in the county, and I think We the People movement is taking over, and I think we're moving forward with it. The old guard is going away, and then the people that are attacking me, they're scared of that. I mean, they're exactly as scared of that. That's what it's about, and they're going to attack all of us. And I know they want things to be like they used to be, and we got to keep moving forward with whatever. I often quote Churchill because he's one of my favorite people. But he was one of the most, I believe, one of the smartest people that ever walked on this side of the dirt. And he always said, if you take time to throw stones at every barking dog, you'll never get nowhere. And that's kind of what we got to do. We just got to keep moving forward. Yep. We can't worry about what they're saying and what they're doing because half of it's truth and half of it's spin. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is the voters just need to get out and vote. I mean, this is your right to have good representatives for your voice, and that's the biggest thing is that Melanie and Dale and myself, we believe in the voices of the voters. We're not here for ourselves to make a big show or anything like that. I was on the biggest show in the world, which was Iraq, and I'm not into that. So, I'm here for you guys as a vote. I'm a voter too, and I felt that the leadership itself needs to be stepped up a little bit in the parties and things like that. And we need the voter supports, and we definitely appreciate all your support and everything. And I'd love, like I say, us three would love to represent you in Harrisburg and do right by you. I mean, my dad always said that you can trust a person when they shake your hand and look you in the eye, and that's honesty right there. And I will guarantee you that I'll look every voter in the eye and shake their hand, and you can take me at my word.
Well, I'm glad that that's what we're going to keep on keeping on, and it's important. It's important we make these changes. It's important that we take back the ground for we the people. That's the way that's the way I believe. The other thing is the petition signings that we're having right now. We're having one at Rooster's Roost on Sunday at 1:00, and I'm pretty certain that everybody's going to be there on Sunday, unless Dale has a breakdown at the last minute and he has to be working on a piece of equipment or something. But I know that there's going to be, and actually we've got messages from other candidates asking if they can bring him. We said, yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to close it down to just certain people. So we're having a petition signing on Tuesday at Fiesta at Azteca, and I know that there's going to be a cost for that one, but if you want to come, and they're going to put out a taco bar for everybody, and that'll be kind of a neat thing. It'll be a little bit different. And then we're supposed to have one, but we're going to be able to announce it probably next Tuesday when I'm on the radio. Probably next Friday somewhere. But with all the fish fries going on, I don't want to take nothing away from any of the fire departments, so we'll probably be going to some of the fish fries and doing some things there. I was actually out at Butte today at lunchtime, and I really appreciate them guys. A piece of fish and of course I had some pierogies and some coleslaw, so that was kind of neat too. They're always very kind out there. I plan on being in Dunbar maybe next week, and then and probably try to get 2 of them. I usually go to Connellsville Township to the fire hall out there also, and then we of course there's in Brownsville there's a couple 2 or 3 we try to hit too, and yeah. So you like fish?
Yeah, oh yeah, I love fish. Yep. I pretty much like everything.
Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. The Army taught me to eat when you could and eat often. So,
I do want to talk to you about one other thing today, and we got a few minutes yet. I want to talk to you about the Veterans Farming Network.
Sure.
And that was one of the things that we haven't touched on for the last few times. Now, you got a big meeting coming up pretty soon, right?
Yeah, it's actually next Friday down in, I think it's Lewistown. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it myself due to the fact that I've got some appointments that I have to keep on Friday. Some things came up, so unfortunately I won't be able to make it. But the farming network basically is just a whole bunch of veteran farmers that's coming together, and then they brainstorm, and everybody learns off of each other for the most part. And then, of course, the USDA is down there. The Department of Ag, a lot of times, are down there to give insights on different things. The conservation districts are down there to show what kind of grants and things like that are available for farmers. And even if you're not a veteran, I know that it's by invitation that, you can probably email them and ask them that, you'd like to come down and see what they're all about as well. And I'm sure they'll be really receptive of having more people down there and learning about the PA Veteran Farming Network as well. But there's a lot of good information that's going to be put out there. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss it this time, but I always enjoy seeing familiar faces and new faces that's joined the program. So, but like I say, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it this time.
And I know that you also I know you also do a lot of different things with the fair and the birds and the bunnies. Is that what they call that?
Yeah, it's the.
I mean, my granddaughter's that does the bunny, but bunny. She's in the bunny club, or I don't know. What do I call them, bunnies?
Oh yeah, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. The 4-H group that was originally started by 2 other members of the Poultry Association and myself. I'm no longer a leader just because I'm so busy right now that I'm like a dog chasing its tail. But I'm also the vice president of the Uniontown Poultry Association, which we put on the buy, sell, and trades. It's a nonprofit organization, and we also put on 1 show a year. It used to be 2 shows a year until COVID hit, and then it just got down to 1 show a year, and that's if the AI thing is with the chickens and things like that is clear, because there's been quite a few times that we've had to cancel the shows because of it, and at the discretion of the Department of Ag. That's another board that I sit on as well. So
I know I never realized the how much the I never realized how many times that they can't have a show, a poultry show, because of the different I guess it's diseases that are going around and but that affect flocks, and but when you think about it, The most I ever had was about 500 laying hens. That's the most I ever had. So it was a little bit more, a little bit less. And people say, "Well, how come you don't know?" And I said, "Well, if you ever tried to count 500 chickens, I mean, you just it's tough. It's tough." And I know how many peeps we started out with, but and how far they got. But that was the most I ever had. But I was particular about who got into my buildings.
Oh yeah, well, and that's same with my farm with the pigs and things like that, because they had a disease going around with PED from Africa, and wiping out large quantities of commercial pigs and things like that. So we were pretty careful with that. Now that's pretty much died down, but the AI flu, I mean, they keep changing the baseline as far as. When it's around, a lot of times it's through the flyways with the Canadian geese and the wild birds migrating back and forth and things like that. So we do the buy-sell and trades, and there's been times where we've been shut down on that, and it's more for protection for the individuals.
And that's kind of neat because you get to see a lot of different breeds of chickens that they're selling in the same way that it used to be because they just don't have the chickens at the fair no more. It's just they don't. I mean,
well,
and
that's because of AI with the disease and things like that running rampant, and I can totally understand the fairs thing with it as well, because you have to protect the people, you have to protect the other animals and things like that. So. And unfortunately, that disease hasn't been wiped out yet. Hopefully within near future it will be, but you just never know. And it's just like the flu or anything else; they build a resistance to anything that you come up with. So you continually have to keep applying different medications and things like that. But hopefully this year, maybe at the fair, that they will have it. But it's one of those things during the hard part of the season. It's more widespread. So it's one of those things that nobody really knows until the Department of Ag sends its blessing down saying you can have chickens or you can't have chickens this year. So
well, Joe Barish sent us a comment. He said that we're his two favorite rednecks. So and I know Joe just got out of the hospital. I mean, he's been
banged up pretty
good. And he's been a good friend of mine with a lot of other people, and he was one of the few. He's always messaging me, and I wanted to thank him for all he's done for me over the past few years. And I got to meet another acquaintance of yours just the other day. Well, I've knew him for years, but I just never knew that both of you were going to be were close friends, and it makes sense because he raised pasture lambs, and I think he did some hogs too. Was Roger?
No, I think he was mainly just goats, sheep, and he had a lot of chickens.
He did have a pile of chickens.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah. He had a portable chicken.
Yep.
People don't realize that what it costs to feed. I know what it cost me to feed 500. I mean, I know. And then you keep them out on pasture because that makes the eggs that much better because eating. They're looking for worms and grubs and bugs and all them kind of things, but then sometimes they get a little wild on you, and you gotta start. It's like an Easter egg hunt when you start. But when I tell you I gathered eggs in 5-gallon buckets, I did, and my wife was she was a jovial sport about the whole thing. She cleaned all the eggs and packaged them, and I had 2 different stores that would buy them off of me, and then. Well, we had a fire because I guess I stood up for some things, and people realized that I was starting to become a force, so they tried to burn me out. But anyways, we never did find out who did that. And that's the other thing. I always tell everybody about the EMS workers and the firefighters and how valuable they are, and how we need to to support them as much as we can. That's why I talked about the fish fries earlier on the show. Got to get to these fish fries people and help these guys out. They only make a couple bucks on every meal, but you get a couple of 300 meals every week, and pretty soon you can afford to buy tires for the fire truck.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is that the grants for the fire departments and things aren't out there like they used to be. Unfortunately, I mean, when you look into it, the grant money is down somewhat, and the grants that they do get is minimal. I mean, it's minimal considering the cost of the equipment and the things that they have to replace on a continuous basis. I mean, so yeah, they definitely need all the help they can get.
Well, when I was talking to somebody, it wasn't a fire department; it was another entity, and they got a grant a couple years ago, and it was for a couple $1 million, and they've only been able to access $100,000 of it, and they're going to lose the rest of it because you had to be able to produce. At the time, they were told that they were going to be able to get matching funds from a couple of different places, and they weren't able to do it. And a lot of times you see there where they're going to do these grants to build things, and you see the different political people saying, making a big deal about how they did this and how they got grants for that. When it comes right down to it, it's the dollar amount. The grant doesn't match the dollar amount that they actually receive, and it's just the way the structure is, and that's why I always think, like, if we did away with the grants, because that's still tax money, we would be able to still do a lot more with the money that was in the county. I mean,
it's true. Yeah,
figure out a different way of generating revenue. But anyways, we're going to go about 30 seconds left, and I think Nick, I don't know if he left me or he forgot about me here, but we'll have to see what's going on. Here he comes. So I'm going to thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me.
Get everybody out to sign your petitions, and I'm going to close the show like I do every Friday. Life is short. Live it. Love is rare. Grab it. Memories are sweet. Cherish them. Faith is being tested. Stand firm. Time is precious. Make the most of it. Trust God and take the ride. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. I am John Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly.